It was the evening of a lovely day as Cynthia decided to take a walk. She usually goes out with her niece, who was visiting for the holidays. But since she was taking a nap, Cynthia had to go alone. It was the era of the outbreak, and she was looking forward to landing her dream body before everything goes back to normal. She was barely 20 minutes into her walk when she became pressed and decided to look for a place to relieve herself. She saw an uncompleted building and decided to go in. She hurriedly skimmed the area as she made it to a bush path close to a window. When she was done and was about getting up, she overheard a conversation that sent chills down her spine. Two men were discussing about how the deal they've been working on was taking too long. One said they have to call the owner to let him know that time is against them and how if he doesn't meet up, the deal will be transferred to a serious client. She was very scared as she listened to all this. Talk about wasted routine. She had to make it out of that place before anyone noticed her presence. She doesn't even know if there are more people or it's only these two. As she bent rooted in her spot, she heard a scream, someone shouting for help. She froze. The two men looked at each other, and one muttered, "He's at it again." They hurriedly left the window. Cynthia decided then that she couldn't live like that. One mind told her to leave before she was discovered. These people could be hardened cream INALS for all she knows, but another told her to put herself in the person's shoes or to consider if it was her niece in such situation. Would she be happy if someone could save her but decided not to? Also, from the sound she heard, she's guessing it was some young person that was being hair capped. TIVE. She wasn't sure, but decided to investigate. She tidied herself and tried to think of the best line of action. She decided she would scout the surroundings, consciously take note of every details before finding who the host TAGE was. But first, she texted her parents, telling them she would be spending the night at her friend's place, who lived not too far from where she was. Then she texted her friend and told her that she would be coming around. Her tone implied urgency. Then she put her phone on silence and proceeded on her mission. Through a window located at the end of the building, she discovered a young boy of about 10 years old sitting tearfully on the floor. His mouth was ducked TAPED and his arms were TIED behind him. His legs were also tied. He jumped when he saw her and she signaled for him to be quiet. She made sure no one was nearby and jumped over. When she got close, she quietly whispered who she was and how she happened to be there. He nodded. Then she told him she would try and get help and asked him if they had a GUN. He shocked that he wasn't sure. She quickly but quietly helped him remove the dog TAPE. It was painful as he tried to speak. "Please help me. They kid PED me and will end me if you don't. Please help me," he said tearfully. "I don't know who they are. I was coming back from an errand when this happened. Please take me with you." She nodded and consoled him. "I know. Just be calm. I'll work something out. But first, I need you to tell me who you are, where you're from, names, and if possible, numbers of your parents, siblings, relatives, anything you can remember. So he told her his name, the place he lived. He could only remember his dad's phone number, so he gave her that. She asked him if he recognized the two men and how many they are. He shrugged. I don't know. I've never seen them before. I went on an errand. On my way back, these men attacked me. The next thing, I'm here. I think they are trying to get a ransom or something. But my parents are not well to do, he said. And no, I don't think they have a GUN. I may be wrong, but I've not seen one. For how long have you been here? Can you remember? For about 5 days. Okay, so I need details. Is it just these two? Any habits, patterns, Something to help me move forward? She inquired. It's mostly these two guys that attend to me. They insist they're not bad. That once their demands are met, I can go home. So they ask me to behave. I notice they sleep late. They drink most nights, play cards. Sometimes they go out and come back late, but not together. One usually keeps watch while when the other is out. They usually sleep in this room. See? Those mattresses over there. He pointed at two mattresses lying by the wall. One is for me and the other is theirs. But there's one who sleeps deep. You can scream the whole place down and he won't wake up. Sometimes one keeps watch while the other sleeps. But it's rare because they say this place is calm. No one comes around. Okay, nodding as he continues, thinking up a plan. That's good. Once he was done speaking, she waited for some time before she said, so here's what will happen. I will give you this phone, she said as she brought out a little torchlight phone, having come up with an idea. You can't make calls, only text messages. I just need you to be my eyes here. Let me know if anyone goes out or if they both sleep in. Keep the text short. The phone is on silent and my number is the first on the dialed list, so it's not hard to locate. She explained the whole idea and said courageous words to him and left the same way she came in. It was almost 12 a.m. when Michael got a beep on the little phone. He looked around fearfully before taking a glance at the message. It reads, in the compound, torchlight by the gate, Heights, as we discussed. One of his abductee OR was fast asleep beside him. He looked up to see the other standing at the doorway, his back towards him. He hoped he hadn't been caught. He shuffled his feet and the guy turned. Michael told him he wants to ease himself as he got up from the bed, the phone in his pocket. An escape plan had been sent to him earlier that day. He just hoped the guy beside him doesn't notice that something was off. When they were outside, he proceeded to walk faster ahead of the big guy. The guy shouted at him to stop and not go too far. He found a tree not too far from the gate and started peeing. He heard some whisperings and looked up. Not too far from the entrance stood Cynthia with a faint torchlight. She flashed it twice which was his cue. He started running to the figure clothed in black. The big guy was startled and yelled for him to stop. He took two steps to block his way and immediately was hit by a heavy stick. Michael stood still, shocked as he fell down, but Cynthia rushed to him and told him they had to start going before his second wakes up. Cynthia had come with a friend of hers, a guy, and he was the one that struck the big guy down. As they walked along the silent street, suddenly a voice sounded behind them. Hey, stop there. Please let me know your thoughts on this story. What stood out for you? How would you have handled this situation? If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more stories like this, kindly like, share to brighten someone's day, and subscribe so you don't miss out on new stories. Also, hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new story is out. Thank you, and I'll be back with the continuation.